Welcome back to episode 7 of the CatchMark SportsNet podcast, brought to you by Van Dyke Mortgage. I'm your host, Zach Zweigle. Next to me, Scott DeCamp, the man who does not sleep.
No, people aren't going to actually know my real name.
That's okay.
That's impossible.
That's okay.
You're verified on Twitter. It's impossible.
And our fearless leader in the corner, Brent Raeth.
Got Billy, too.
Oh, yeah.
What's up, Billy? Give us a shout-out, buddy.
Hello.
Did the Dolphins
Billy
play yesterday or not? Did the Dolphins play?
Yeah, they won 5 straight.
Do they
now.
ever play?
Did they really win yesterday
Yeah,
again?
they won 5
Guess who else
straight.
won, Billy?
The Lions
Yeah.
won.
The Detroit Lions won. And, you know, I was going to say, they almost Lions it up again. They were up 20 points, and then they were down. And then with like 2 seconds left, they won.
Hey, we can just let that slide. You know, they might have something going here, though, right? So you think about it. They've lost so many games that when they win, if another team won a game, like in what week are we in? 11, 10? In just another game, it would be just another win, right? The Lions win, and it's all over Twitter. It's all over Facebook. Like, it's a big deal for the Lions to win.
They were happy. It was like a Super Bowl win.
I noticed 2 things with that win. It felt like they won the Super Bowl afterwards.
Yeah.
It was like people rushing the field
Yep.
and I will give it up to Lions fans. When Miami lost 7 in a row, the stadium's empty. Like, you could look on the wide shot and there's like nobody there. The Ford Field was packed with a winless team.
They're pros at doing this. They've dealt with this for a long time.
They're weathered. They absolutely know what's going on here. So,
No, and I'll be there. I'll be there in 2 weeks
oh yeah, that's right.
for the as part of the Detroit Lions High School Coach of the Week, Coach of the Year panel. I'll be there representing CatchMark.
Awesome.
They'll be honoring the coaches of the week, Coach of the Year. It's a cool thing. They have us out on the field at halftime.
Super cool.
So hopefully we're more entertaining than the football is actually, but that remains to be seen.
We'll see. You get to go there. They're NFL level players. Hey, I got to give 2 shout outs real quick. Okay.
Yeah.
So for the first time since we started doing this podcast, we have fans, guys.
Whoa.
I had somebody come up to me at church on Sunday morning and talk about our podcast. So I'm going to give a shout out to Mr. Shannon Sharp.
Hey.
Shannon, you may be our only listener, but you are a listener and a fan. I appreciate it. And my other shout out is, of course, Van Dyke Mortgage. We got to give some publicity to our lead and title sponsor, and Mario and Nate and the crew over at Van Dyke. We really appreciate them sponsor us and helping us put this content out. But then again, North Grove Brewery. North Grove has decided to come on board and sponsor a couple things, one being this podcast, and then the other being the Power Hour. Scott, can you tell us a little bit more about what's going on with the Power Hour this week?
Well, the Power Hour was like an 8-year show on WLCS 98.3, and it was co-hosted by John Russell and Mike Taylor, and I was a guest on there occasionally. It was a fun show. It was just a weekly thing. I know people around the area really got into it, and when it went away, people were like, "Where's the Power Hour? What's going on? How come it's not playing anymore?" And so I think I'm really happy that we can bring that back. But I think we're taking it up another level, because not only are we bringing it back with those same guys, we're bringing it back with a live audience. That's the hope. So we want to have people in North Grove maybe grab some food, maybe grab a drink or two, and then engage with us. You know, we'll have, like I said, John and Mike Taylor on there. We got Billy Harris coming in this week, the former U of M receiver back from the 60s when Bo Schembechler's first 2 teams. You know, we'll try to have a different guest, and certainly maybe a different co-host, but John and Mike will, by and large, be kind of running that thing, and some of us will be popping in there. But no, that's really exciting to be able to bring that.
Yeah, it should be a blast. North Grove is a great place to hang out too. So what's the official name, Scott?
How long is this podcast?
What's the official name?
The official name is going to be Van Dyke Mortgage Power Hour, brought to you by North Grove Brewers.
That rolled right off the tongue,
Look
man.
at
That is perfect. That's awesome. Well,
Look at that.
no, it's gonna be a good time. Scott, you're not gonna be there this week. Can you tell me again why?
not
I
going
don't want to hear it.
I'm
I'm
gonna-
sick of it.
Well, no, I'm not going to Cabo yet.
Oh, I was giving you an opportunity.
I'm
Where
not-
are you going to be this?
This
This
thir-
guy's just like he works at night and he takes vacations during the day. That's what happens.
Yeah, that's
I'm
true.
figuring it out.
That's true.
So, no.
So yeah, I was this Thursday I'll be at a Christmas party put on by Van Dyke again.
Perfect.
And we'll be there kind of just
Hanging out.
hanging out, and
Yeah.
that should be a cool event. I wish I could be two places at once because the Power Hour is going to be that'll be really
Pretty cool.
fun. But yes, you are correct. This Friday we're driving to Chicago, flying out to LA.
I knew we were getting close. I knew we were getting close. And I did actually know Thursday because we'll be at the same party with Van Dyke.
Same
so,
event.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's.
But yeah, if you want me to keep going on Cabo, you want me to keep
No,
talking about that Cabo
you're
trip?
good. You're good. I think we're good. So I got one. Like I want you guys to know that like when we leave these podcasts, you guys have me thinking all the time. So I'm constantly looking at stuff. And I think it was. I don't remember if it was our last podcast or two podcasts ago, or maybe it was even our Player of the Year banquet when we asked about like old school basketball players.
Mm-hmm.
And Zach made a comment that he didn't think old school basketball players were as athletic or as good at athletes as they are now. And I would say you're not entirely wrong. I think across the spectrum, they probably didn't have as good of training techniques and like all kinds of different things. But I did want to challenge that assertion just a little bit and just talk for a second about some things about a guy by the name of Wilt Chamberlain that you may or may not have known. So I'm going to just list off a couple things here.
Wait a minute,
first.
are you on the payroll for the Chamberlain family?
Yeah.
I might be.
Because you
This
mentioned
guy
this is like the
loves
third or
Will.
fourth straight podcast you mentioned.
I
him.
get fired up about this stuff, right? So I want you to imagine a guy that was 7 foot 1 inches tall, had a wingspan larger than Shaq's, was in his playing days between 260 and 290 pounds. At his peak, he could bench press over 600 pounds. He ran a sub 11 100 meter dash. He ran a 49-second 400 meter and a 158 in the 800 at 7 foot 1 inches. He was a conference champion in the high jump, and he played professional volleyball. And imagine what kind of hype there would be for that kind of athlete nowadays. And then I want you, Zach, to argue with me that the athletes are better today than they are back then.
I mean, I think that you're picking, a needle out of the haystack. Like I can't argue that like that specifically is.
I knew you were going to go there. I
superior.
got something for you.
However, generally speaking, the average NBA player, professional athlete, has improved from 30 years ago.
That guy that I just mentioned, too, did not win the bulk of NBA championships during his playing days. How is that possible if the athletes across the league weren't as good?
Because one person
Yeah.
can't win. Come on.
All right, now I'm going to throw in there the best unofficial stat line of all time.
Okay.
53 points, 32 rebounds, 14 assists, 24 blocks, and 11 steals a game.
That's impressive.
I don't care what era you play in. I don't care, guys, come on.
That's hard to do on a video game.
Yeah,
isn't it?
That's
Probably
yeah.
true. That
He,
probably is hard
he
to
is
do
a
on a video
living
game.
video game, and I'm done. I'm out.
But that
it.
says a lot.
No, we're done.
Also, when the whole
You
league,
don't get to talk
when the
anymore.
whole league isn't as good as they are today, it's
I know
much
you-
easier to do this.
Here
I know
we
you
go.
love Wilt because last time you said he benched 500. Now you're saying he benched 600.
I'm
which
Yeah,
getting
he looked it
updated
up.
information.
Yeah,
I'm
he
getting
looked it
updated
up.
information.
he walked.
I don't
uphill
love Will.
both ways.
I actually don't love Will. He was actually a pretty I think he was extremely arrogant, kind of just not a very nice guy.
Didn't
on
he
top
kind
of
of
it.
enjoy the ladies a little
He
bit
did
too?
enjoy the ladies. He had some I left that stat out, Scott. I
I
left.
know this is a family show.
This
so-
is yeah. Just some other fun. Will he averaged 50.4 points per game for the 1962 season for the entire season?
That's crazy.
It's crazy. Like they measure greats, other greats, in how many 50-point games they have. I think Harden's got 30 or something, and they make a big deal. And MJ's, he is literally you can add all those other guys up and they're less than Will Chamberlain.
Yeah, I believe
It's nuts, man. Like this guy, and I personally just don't think he gets enough credit overall. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. I know you got other content.
Those
today,
are
so
amazing.
I wanted to
can
get
see
us
that.
going.
They're amazing numbers for sure. I also, I mean, we talked about this the first time that we talked about Will, but I also think that back then, I mean, this is a fact. A lot more of the points were scored in the paint, right?
For sure, no
in
3-point
and
line.
around. Yeah, and nowadays I think it would be a little bit easier to counter somebody like that because you can shoot. Like shooting from the outside is a huge portion of the game. I mean, Steph Curry's threes are like from half court. Of
For
like
sure.
a high
I mean, it
school
would
size court.
definitely be more packed in if there was a 3-point line. Oh
You get
wait,
what I'm
no, it
saying?
wouldn't. It would open it up. Wouldn't it?
No, listen.
So then
The
you
guy-
couldn't
the guy's
triple
a
team.
giant. He is.
Yeah,
he-
but then
he
you
is-
couldn't triple team. You couldn't quadruple team, which is what they did to Will back in the day. When there's no 3-point line, there's no incentive
Was there
to
a
sprint.
3-second rule back then?
Yeah, for part of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, new topic.
New
I'm not gonna win
We're-
this
You're
one,
not gonna
guys.
win. We're gonna keep going.
Crazy athlete though. I won't
Yeah.
deny that.
By the way, he threw the shot put 56 feet.
Yeah, he's an animal.
Yeah.
I totally not gonna argue with you there.
All right. Good.
Yeah, you know, jeez.
What else we got
I
today?
got nothing after that. That's
What else
just
we got
it.
today?
While we're on the basketball topic, I think that
7'1", 43-inch vertical.
that's crazy. That is crazy. Did you say 70 inches?
43.
7
70.
foot 1, but 43
70
inch
jump
vertical
over the
at 7 foot
backboard.
1.
I was like, what?
7'1", 43-inch vertical.
That's still
Yeah, to have a 43-inch vertical, I think LeBron's is like 42 or something I've read before.
Yeah.
To have a vertical and be that size is insane.
Yeah.
That's like top of the backboard.
I mean, he's an all right athlete.
Yeah, listen.
We'll keep going. I'll leave it alone.
he's a
I'm
rare
closing my
situation.
tabs on my laptop, so I can't even look at him anymore.
You can't argue that and
Zach,
not,
you know
not let
that.
me prepare for that. for
You
the
know,
pod.
I know. I sabotage you.
fair.
I definitely got you.
While we're on the basketball topic, though, I do think that we should talk about high school basketball a little bit. Just finished up the first week of girls basketball in high school, and I covered Montague and Oak Ridge last Friday. And I was super impressed by specifically Kendall Osborne, who was close to a triple-double. She didn't hit a triple-double, but she was close.
Well, how close was she?
She had, I think she had 9 assists and eight boards maybe.
I think she
Oh,
was
so
1
she
or
was
2.
real. So
I can't
19,
remember.
19, 9, and 8 or something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, super impressive, and she's a sophomore. I can't believe that she has this season and then 2 more after that.
Yeah.
She's also pretty, like, she's tall. I was surprised how tall she was too.
Yeah. Was she about 5'9", 5'10"?
Yeah.
She might be taller than me.
But she's
actually.
young. I mean, she's young still
Yeah.
too. You know, I was shocked. Shot it really well, and you know, I haven't seen her a ton, so obviously maybe she just had a good game, but knocked down 3 trays in like the second half. It was fun to watch. It really was.
You know, it's kind of amazing to like. You talk all the time about how hard it is for a freshman to play on varsity. She played on varsity all last year.
Yeah. On a good varsity team.
Yeah,
too.
on a good varsity team, right? Like in watching the confidence level from freshman to sophomore year. I mean, I see it in my own kids, like, you know, Owen playing freshman, and then like it's weird how that confidence can, like, because I don't think she's like a dramatically skill-wise better player. I mean, she's definitely better than she was last year. It's all mentality. It's all in her head. Now she thinks she belongs this year, or maybe she was a little tentative last year.
Right.
But yeah, she's played amazing. I was teasing Hunter last night. I helped at Open Gym, and her little brother Hunter was in there. And Hunter's a pretty good basketball player in his own right. And they got the gun out and they're shooting threes. And I said, Hunter, how's it feel to be the 4th best shooter in your family? And he said, what? And I'm like, well, the first best shooter has to be the old man, the granite, right? Like,
Yeah.
And he says, no, he can't shoot anymore. And I said, you give him enough time in the gym, he'd get it back, you know. And then his sister Brickell was pretty good, and then Kendall's amazing too. So it runs in that family, huh?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it makes sense. Basketball family, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a super good game to watch. Montague finished the week 2-0 and defeated Oak Ridge. So
How
I'm looking forward to see.
How good are the Wildcats?
You know, it's really hard to tell this early because I don't know how good Comstock Park is, and I really don't know how. I don't have anybody to compare, you know, Oak Ridge to, right? But I would say that they're pretty decent. You know, I also think the conference is pretty good too. So, like, I think Shelby's pretty dang good, and I think Hart's pretty good too. So it should be interesting. I'm actually really excited. I haven't looked forward to girls basketball this much in a while.
You know what else was good? I thought your coverage was good. So good job on that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I also thought the audio feed we had was good.
Absolutely.
Oh,
I
awesome.
don't know if you guys, obviously you were there, so you're
Yeah.
not listening to it. Maybe you went back and listened to it. I think you
Yeah,
heard some of it,
listened.
Brent.
Yep.
I was really happy because that was kind of our maiden voyage in the audio
For sure.
only realm, and I thought it went really well. So thanks to Billy, thanks to obviously Bill O'Connell and Cal for calling it, but thanks to everybody who helped make that happen. I
For
thought
sure.
it turned out well.
Yeah, a lot of work from Cody too on the back end.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
for sure.
heck yeah.
Cody,
Cody made it happen.
He
I
did.
think we let him know, or Scott, you let him know like
2
Tuesday
days,
or
yeah.
something. Like, hey, I think we're gonna try to do this Friday, and he's like, okay.
Was that too late?
Yeah. No, obviously it wasn't. We got it
Right.
done, right? But
Yeah.
For Cody,
No,
he
he-
might tell you it's too late.
And they're
You
going to
did.
be.
You did a good job.
They definitely did, and I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be available for a lot of games, including tomorrow's girls basketball game between
so-
Montague and Spring Lake.
A bunch of the games we can't get to a live stream, an actual video. We're gonna try to do audio. Right?
Yeah.
Zach, I mean that's kind of the
For
idea.
sure. So tomorrow and then Friday too, the first boys game for Montague, they will
Nice.
be there. So should be good.
I have to give it. O'Connell did a
Really good job.
I know Bill likes to talk, right? So like I've known him long enough. I know that's gonna happen. Like he's just got the gift of gab, right? Like some of us. But like when I came on to listen, I mean like he didn't miss a beat. Like he seemed like he'd been doing it for 10, 15 years. Yeah, I thought they sounded great. So Bill, if you're listening to our podcast, and now we'll find out if he actually does listen.
True.
But great, he did a great job out there. And
Yeah, I was impressed too.
so I
really
gotta
was.
make a comment though, Zach, and you're gonna get a little embarrassed. All right, you ready for
Oh
this?
jeez, here we go.
So in our business, we're big and huge on culture, right? We're big and huge on being an ideal team player, and that's humble, hungry, smart. And so I just have to say something. So I popped on the Montague Oak Ridge girls stream, right? And the very first thing I see on the live stream on NFHS is Zach crawling under the table, pulling cables to get the stream going. Now I want you guys all know Zach was there to cover the game as a reporter, right? Like he's taking pictures, he's writing, he did all that. But what an example of somebody that is really bought into doing what's necessary to make other people successful. So Zach, you didn't mention it, and you mentioned other people and what they did, but like, I mean, he's crawling under the table handing cables, and I texted him and gave him a hard time. I'm like, "What are you doing, cable dog?" And he's like, but seriously,
Brent.
Zach,
I appreciate that.
those are the types of things that make us successful, and I would be remiss if I didn't call that out. On the
Thank you. I
No,
appreciate
it's
that. very
deserved,
much,
and that's the type of team we have.
Yeah.
That's true.
I
I
think
think that's to be honest with you, on that topic, that summarizes our team, right? Like our whole team, our entire team. Everybody encompasses those those traits, and that's kind of what makes it so good.
Everybody's
So,
willing to do that.
absolutely. I mean, even like Bill stepping up, right? Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, he didn't have to do
He didn't
that.
have to do it.
That was him filling in for John, and that was to come in and do what he did.
He had to bring his kids to the game too.
Yeah,
Did he
I
have
have a
them kind of hanging
photo.
around?
Yeah, I have a
Were
photo.
they sitting on the bench?
No, they were sitting. They were sitting in the bleachers like behind him, but at the end, the game was over, so
Yeah.
they, in their mind, they were, it's
Yeah.
time to go,
Yeah.
right? But Cal and Bill were still talking on air.
Did they come
So
up?
his kids are surrounding him. And he's like, "Hold on," It was funny.
I know they were like ball girls for a while for the Wildcats. So
Yeah.
I didn't know. I saw some kids sitting on the end of the bench. I didn't know if those were his when I was watching the stream.
They
so.
kept creeping down, closer and closer to him.
That's
So,
funny.
yeah, it was funny. But yeah,
Awesome.
great job by him. Super cool. And I think it's just it's a nice feature to have. Like you said, when we can't stream the games, to have some type of coverage is pretty awesome.
Did Dad take him to Mr. Quicks after the game? That's
I
the question.
don't know. I know that I stopped, but I don't know if he did.
Yeah. So I might have recruited another audio guy if we need him. So
Who we got?
Mr. And he's quite a good basketball player on top of that. So
Oh, geez.
I did have the opportunity to play basketball with Mr. Tate Stein last night.
Hey.
Tate looks good. Like he's
That's
the
good.
knee looked good. He was moving around. I was sweating after walking onto the court and couldn't breathe. But Tate looked really good. Tate said, "Hey, if you need any announcers for the girls' games, I'm still available." So,
Really?
Yeah. And we joked a little bit about maybe if Dave got him a little time on the bench, he could run over and announce at the boys' games too. But yeah, no.
Which Tate Stein voice are we gonna get?
I don't know. That's a very good question. I think professional journalist.
All right,
Tate Stein,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, that dude, I've never seen him not smiling.
He's
he's
such a good dude.
He's a happy guy.
Yeah.
He's always got that big smile on his face. It's good to see.
He's well spoken too.
Yeah, no, he's a good kid. He's a good ball player. I'll tell you what, the Wildcats are really, really lucky to have him back this year. As early as they did too. He looked good. I talked to him a little bit. He said his knee isn't 100%. He didn't think, but that wasn't because it wasn't 100% ready. He said more mentally, I think, for him. It's a confidence thing, right? Like you do something like that to your knee and you have surgery. It's kind of like, am I going to get back? But yeah, no, he was making threes. That's awesome. He was moving. He's going to be tough for some people.
That's good to hear.
Wouldn't you say he's instantly one of the top players in the league?
He's
healthy, isn't he?
If not the top player.
Or one of?
Yeah, I mean, there's some. He's probably about 5'10", really athletic 5'10". I mean, he's strong. That's one of the things that I was making fun of my own kid. So Owen was kind of guarding me, and I'm not a little guy, right? Not tall, but I'm chubby. And Tate started guarding me, and it's a whole different thing. He's strong and he's athletic. There are some guys that are taller, but as far as the full package, I just don't see a more complete player in the conference this year. I mean, I think Tate is
not even Cal Beebe.
I think that
boy, I don't. You're putting me on the spot here because I love some Kyle Beebe, right? I think Kyle is a little taller and might be a little better of an. I don't even want to say that. A little longer, but Tate is just the way he commands the court and he's a real deal. I mean, he's as good of a complete ball player as I've seen. So
yeah, he would have changed him quite a bit last year.
Yeah, it would have been
sure.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see what this looks like now with him back and so.
I'm excited. I think it's gonna be fun.
I'm stealing all your topics.
No, you're good. You're good to go. On that topic though, I'm talking about some of the league's best players or newcomers. Camden Thompson sprained an ankle. It sounds like. Yeah. So he's going to be out for a couple weeks, which is interesting because I was really looking forward to seeing him play.
Do you know how bad of a sprain it was?
I don't have any, a ton of details, but Scott and I talked about that this morning. I was super interested to see how much effect he would have on the game this week.
Right? Just to
he's a freshman. It's so everybody wants to see that. So that's kind of disappointing, but I did watch his highlights from their scrimmage, and he surprises me. It's very seldom you see a freshman basketball player around here contribute, and I mean he looks like he's been doing it.
He's about 6'3" or so.
Big boy.
There's a video floating around of him dunking and stuff. So
yeah, it depends on the day. He couldn't do it at media day. They were giving him a hard time.
Really?
But I think I've seen a video of him doing it two-handed. Yeah. And I wouldn't call it a Dayton Cole type dunk.
Right. Not yet.
But it goes in and. It's there. Cam, that's too bad. Sprains are weird because you never know how long. Sometimes if you do it bad, it can be worse than breaking it.
Yeah.
And then when you do come back, you're just really wobbly on it, and it's kind of strange. But that was what I was worried about with Cam when you and I talked, Zach. It was to me, it wasn't the skills, it wasn't the basketball IQ, it wasn't even being comfortable. It was more around, it's a varsity basketball, and you gotta. It's a tough grind. These kids are men. You know what I mean?
Sure,
I look forward to seeing Cam on the court. They're
definitely
better league with him. So
yeah, I totally agree. So yeah, that was interesting. And then obviously we mentioned BB this week. There is Oak Ridge and Montague. I think that'll set the tone for those teams because I have no idea how good the Oak Ridge is.
I got to give Jay Mulder a little bit of a hassle here. And Jay, I don't know if you're listening, but holy cow! First opening, so just so everybody's aware, ADs typically handle scheduling, so that's why Jay's getting the heat right now. But opening in conference, not non-conference, and then Oak Ridge. I mean, right off the bat. So those of you who don't know it, there were some good games last year between Montague and Oak Ridge, and I would say they're probably, in my idea, one of the top three teams in both of them are top 3 or 4 teams in the league this year. So it's gonna be a test right off the bat.
Yeah, to not have a tune-up game is like kind of that's kind of crazy. But again, they might not be able to fill that spot, or who knows, because they're all non-league games, right?
Yeah, Jay's got a tough job, so Jay, I'm not being that hard on you, but
For sure.
But come on.
They are the only team in the conference without a Tuesday game, though.
It is true, isn't it? Yeah.
That'll be our game of the week too. By the way,
sweet.
The Montague Oak Ridge boys game Friday.
It'll be streamed.
It'll be streamed.
It'll
we'll
be
have
on
the audio.
audio?
We'll have John and Cal on there, and it'll be our game of the week. And Zach will be providing coverage because you know why? Because I won't be there because I'll be headed to Cabo.
That's right. Yep. Unbelievable. This is unbelievable.
Basketball kicks off. Why not go to Cabo?
Yeah, right.
Who needs you?
Who does that?
Well, I can.
You're only the face of CatchMark SportsNet.
I can follow the live coverage on our various platforms.
That is true. Listen to it.
I'm gonna wait till we have a really busy week before I take some time off. I'll make him pay for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a good game. I'm excited. I'm definitely am. Other matchups this week we have Ravenna at Whitehall. Also going to be an interesting one in my opinion.
Yeah.
We just don't know. North Muskegon at Shelby. I think Shelby's young this year. They have some experienced players, but nobody that was great, like standoutish last year. So I'm pretty excited to see how that one pans out. Also, I think North Muskegon could be a sleeper in the league. We've talked.
Are we doing
about
picks? Are we doing West Michigan Conference picks?
I don't know. I guess it's up to you guys. You don't have to. This is the thing. There's only 4 games, so it really doesn't. We can. It's easy.
We can do one on the podcast for sure.
Yeah. What do you think? Mason County Central at Hart. You want me to go first, so you guys can't say that
I
haven't
you. Seen Mason County Central really.
Neither have I.
I saw them last year. I'm gonna say Hart in that. Hart looked big.
They looked huge.
In media day. I was actually looking at them and I'm like, man, not a lot of people talking about Hart, but I really think they've got experienced guards. They look tall. Hovey looked like he'd lost some weight, a little more athletic, another year under his belt. They look tough. I'd take Hart there.
Okay.
I'll go with Hart on that one as
I'm
well.
going with Hart too.
Hart
for sure.
Hart's a pick.
Ravenna at Whitehall.
Oh Lord, that's a hard one.
I have Whitehall on that one.
I think I'm going to be going with the home teams. Looks like probably in these matchups. Just because you just don't, especially early on, you don't know what you're looking at yet.
Yeah.
You don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
Whitehall though, man, they're ripping up that roster. It's a brand new roster basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just so hard
Red's
to tell.
the only returning starter, Red Watson.
Yeah.
And now they're out cammed. It's just so hard to tell.
I'm gonna. Where does Cal Beebe go to school?
He goes to Ravenna, and
I'm taking the Bulldogs.
Now Ravenna wasn't. When I talked to them at media day, they said they still have a ways to go yet. Now maybe they were. I don't know if they were just sandbagging or not, but
I will tell you. I think it depends on which Carter Shulo shows up too. Carter played with Owen and Hardwood this year, and when he's locked in and he's on, he's tough. He's a tough matchup for anybody. And then you throw those other guys around him like Beebe and they weren't little. At media day, I don't think they had anybody that was really giant, but none of them were small.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah, I agree.
I think Ravenna's going to surprise Whitehall and give them a first home loss.
I
All the
think
Whitehall
that's
guys
a
totally
are
see
hating
that.
on me
Me
now.
too.
So,
Me too.
I can totally see that.
But North Muskegon at Shelby.
boy, this might be the toughest one, to be honest.
I don't know. I don't
know.
Yeah,
They're all tough. Aren't they all? I know this is really kind of. I don't know. They're all kind of tough in a way.
They are.
But I think that's how the league's probably going to be.
Yeah.
It is.
Don't you think?
Yeah. So it'll be fun.
I love Rick Zulik. I love what Rick does at Shelby. I don't know if he's got, and it's hard to tell because Shelby always seems to pull out some weapons from places. You're like, they're not going to have anything, and then all of a sudden some kid scores 19 a game. Hayes is been there. I was teasing him. He's like 50. He's played varsity all 4 years, and so he's got some experience there at a couple of spots. But I think North Muskegon wins that. It's just my. I think that they're bigger than I thought. They're going to be tough. Yeah.
So North Muskegon doesn't have anybody who played every game last year. They have kids. Obviously, they saw the floor, but they're returning players that were on the team, just not players that saw a lot of minutes. So
and they're going to be better as the year goes on, of course, because they've got a couple key players that are going to be out early. With
is Young going to play first game?
I don't think he is, and Belmonte's out too. Yeah.
From their football injuries. So
Mhm.
whenever they
Boy,
get
so
those
that's-
guys back,
That's some key information that I need
For
to know.
sure.
I would say, boy, that makes that one even tougher.
Yeah,
right?
it
Like I
does.
think Young Belmonte. I think it's probably North Muskegon, but
Troy McManus is good though. They have
and
they're good.
they were definitely bigger than Shelby overall.
Mhm.
Boy,
It's
you go
close.
first, Scott. Who do you think?
without those two guys, I guess I have to give Shelby the slight edge. But again, I mean, I have a hard time doubting. I mean, Zulik's a phenomenal coach.
Yeah,
He's a
he
legendary
is, he
coach.
is.
It is hard to bet against Ripster, though. He has those guys
Oh,
ready.
no,
They
he is-
always compete.
Yeah, they're good too. Like I would say, coaching wise, two of the best in the conference.
Yeah, for
right?
sure,
Like,
They
Yeah.
are. And,
They definitely are.
Yeah, Chuck always has those guys
Yeah.
ready. Always.
yeah. What do you
So-
think, Zach?
I got North Muskegon, but by a hair, I think it's going to come right down to the wire, and I think that North Muskegon's going to be a lot better when they get those two guys back.
So my old man was a Tiger, so I'm gonna go with the Tigers.
I think it's fair. Again, like I don't think anybody could be mad one way or the other on these.
Mhm.
Like they're toss-ups, right?
Yeah, I'm just going with the no real rhyme or reason. I think it's a toss up. So at Shelby, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
At
Yeah,
Shelby,
At Shelby. I'm
Yep.
going with Shelby.
and then Oak Ridge at Montague.
Oh my god.
Don't surprise me.
Boy, I had some skin in this game. Right? So like, I don't want to jinx them. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, boy, Montague looks tough. I mean, I'm just like, and this isn't a. It's gonna be. Everybody's gonna be like, "Dad goggles." It's not. That's not it. I feel like right now, if they can avoid the knock on wood COVID bug or the injury bug, I'm not sure another team in the conference pulls off the bench what Montague has. So I think their starters are going to be as good as anybody in the conference, and then I think you start going down the bench. I think they're good. There's not much lost there through their 6th, 7th, 8th players, right? Like so. That being said, Oak Ridge has a way of winning too. Like Weaver's a gamer, Joseph's a gamer, Delora is a gamer.
They're athletes.
They're athletes, and they like to win. And so, I think there's too much firepower for Oak Ridge. I'm going the Wildcats.
You
I
want
have
me
to
to
pick.
go?
I'm not
You
going to
want
be
me
here.
to
Do I have to
go?
pick?
You gotta
Oh
pick.
my gosh!
No, I got to give Montague the edge for a lot of the reasons that Brent stated. But what?
I'm just teasing.
But-
I'm just
No, I
teasing.
do. I just
He'll be
Um,
watching in Cabo. Is that what
Yeah,
you're thinking?
he will. He won't.
I won't be
stay
there
away.
quite yet.
Thanks.
I'll be in LA. Well,
The
no, we'll be
plane
just
ride.
flying from Chicago.
You'll be
I
in the
think, then.
plane. You flying first, Scott?
For
Bubbly.
heck no.
It's like $9,000.
Yeah.
It's-
Listen,
yeah.
this guy's get. I don't.
He's verified on
Can't
Twitter. You
vampires
probably
fly?
could have done it. You probably could have got an influencer ticket.
Yeah.
Be like, look, I'll
probably
take
could've.
pictures on your
You
flight.
probably could have a sponsored flight down
You
there.
probably could have.
I mean, I need a seeing eye dog is what I need.
I have Montague. Too,
Yeah?
for sure.
Why?
Yeah. I really think they're the best team in the conference. Like preseason outlook, I think that they're the best team in the conference. I really do. I wouldn't trust me. I'm not giving them any more credit than I need to. But I really do think that, and I think that Whitehall, North Muskegon are really close. And to be honest with you, I haven't seen enough of these other teams to.
Yeah. Oak
To
Ridge
put
is
them in
solid. And Tracy's a good coach.
For sure.
Weaver can
They
heat
are,
up, right?
absolutely.
Weaver can, both of those guys, like Delora and Weaver. Weaver's that kind of kid, like you look at him and you're like,
Yeah, you don't see it.
yeah, but I'm telling you right now, that he throws daggers, man.
Does
Like,
he play with the goggles too?
He does. I think he plays with. I don't know if it's goggles or glasses.
Those
he definitely,
glasses, yeah.
he definitely
Those
does.
prescription glasses.
Remember last year he came out and I was like, "Who is this guy? Is Tracy like?" In yeah, you figured
He
it
can
out
shoot.
pretty quick.
gets it
right?
done,
Like
dude.
he gets it going.
He
so,
does. He can
yeah.
get it going. Yep.
Joseph was the biggest problem, I think, overall though. Like
I
mean,
think he might be the best big man in the conference.
But they
He's
had,
gonna be-
they had
yeah.
him and Martin last year. They don't have
Yeah, that's
Martin.
true.
They don't have Luke Martin, so they don't
I-
have as much size as they've had. They
Yeah.
got obviously Joseph, but beyond him,
Jo-
not much.
Joseph though, he's like a traditional big man.
Yeah.
Like I mean, he leans on you. He's tall. He's more athletic than he looks,
A lot
and
more athletic.
he's fine with staying right on the block and he's got a nice soft touch. Like
He is such a soft spoken Nice kid.
I
You
like
wouldn't see him as being this dominant like defensive lineman, offensive lineman, and all this stuff. But he's just so. Even now, he's been interviewed quite a bit, and even in media, he's just so. So I think he just gets nervous or whatever, but he's just so shy.
I think he's just quiet. I think he's just soft spoken, like you said.
Soft spoken and shy kind of thing.
I think Atchison's going to give him trouble. I mean, Isaiah's a little taller. He's definitely a little thicker than he was last year.
I just see
he's
Joseph.
He's going to block a lot of shots. Like
I agree. Yeah, I can see that.
And that's going to be, that's going to be a key matchup in my opinion. Like, and Joseph's not going to have a size advantage on him. I mean, he's going to have he's a thicker kid, but like as far as shooting over him, that's probably not going to happen.
That's true. Yeah, I think those are all the little things that will decide the game, though.
Yeah, for sure.
If Atchison can shoot, if he shoots well, there's if Tate comes.
Tate's can be tough.
I said it right off the get-go, and I've played with Tate, growing up a little bit. I mean, I think he is as good as anybody in the league, if not, like you said, the best player.
Yeah, he's underrated strong.
The Steins are. His brother's like that, too.
Yeah, I mean, and I think, when I think around the good guards around the league, and I think, what is Tate? Well, Tate can shoot. He's fast.
There's their IQ. They're smart.
Yeah.
They take care of the ball.
Yep. But he's also strong. I think and he's tall enough that he's when you look at a Weaver or a Delora, Tate's not slow either. That's, I mean, you could see Dave moving Tate around, and I mean, he could do a lot of things.
You think my wife would let me cancel our trip again? I kind of want to see that game.
I would like that.
Man, I don't know if it can live up to the hype of last year. Gosh, man, every single one of those games was just edge of your seat. Billy did you call that one with me, or you were at all of them for the most part? I mean, you weren't at the away game when Drew had his heroics and pulled us out from victory or from defeat, but
no, I was at all the home games and they were all really good.
Yeah, the district game and
I wasn't very good at calling them because I was producing them at the same time. So
we did try to do that once.
Brent would be talking and talking and talking. And what do you think, Billy? Yep.
So, all right, Zach, we talked enough about that. What do we got?
I want to talk a little bit about some of the school cancellations in Muskegon County right now, and this is kind of a touchy subject in general because of the tragic event that happened last week. But due to some shooting threats, more or less, a couple schools in the area, in Muskegon area, have decided to close Fruitport and Orchard View. And somebody told me one more. I'm not sure.
Shores.
Yeah, Shores.
I don't know if they closed, but they had somebody that posted something on social media that was a threat.
So this is just kind of a crazy thing, and it's been a headline. And I watched the Whitehall superintendent get eaten up last night on Facebook after announcing that they weren't going to close. And I thought a lot about what I would do if I was in that situation or if I had some influence. And what a tough position to be in.
Yeah, you're wrong. No matter what decision you make,
it's just wrong. You don't want to set a precedent where anytime somebody writes a no or posts something, you close school. But obviously the kid's safety is a primary concern. Also, it's
the timing of it is what makes it a little more volatile as well.
Yeah,
but,
just a horrible situation to be in. What are your thoughts on that, Brent?
Well, I always look for win-wins in situations, and unfortunately, there's no win-win here. There's just no way. There's no right way to do it. Like you said, if he closes school, there's going to be a group of people that are upset that the kids aren't at school, and that this isn't a threat. If he leaves school open, there's going to be people that think that you don't care enough about the kids and that you're not concerned with safety. I'm sure he's got a whole bunch of information that he's not allowed to or can't share with the general public. I'm sure there's law enforcement investigations going on that they're part of. I'm sure all that stuff's going on. Man, administrators have a tough job, and they take a lot of heat. And, sometimes I think we got to give some of those people a little bit of grace. I know it's our kids we're talking about. I mean, I got kids in high school and middle school as well, but boy, what a tough spot to be in. You hate to see anything happen to the kids. It seems to me like a lot of these things are copycat stuff. I mean, I think it's kids either trying to get out of school or somebody they want attention in some way. But
for sure,
I guess that's my 2 cents. There's just no right way to do it.
I kind of along those lines. I've always been surprised that administrators or leaders of businesses, so on. A lot of times they actually do disclose like their email, like their email address or like their phone number, and that always surprises me because I feel like although the idea is a good thing, like they just get swamped with like calls and emails and so on, and they're not even going to have time to do their job that they need to get done, right? Like I just wonder where the line is and why that's why that's kind of expected nowadays.
Well, I mean, I'm in a bit of a unique position sitting on the school board, right?
Mm-hmm.
Zach knows this, so I think I have to go back. You guys, you're part of this team. You know how I like to do business as a business owner, that being transparency, right? So my philosophy is that if there's not transparency, people create their own narratives. And so what happens is if I don't, for example, in our business, we're pretty open about financial situation and where we're at, probably more so than most businesses are with their employees. My philosophy's always been if I don't do that, if I'm not transparent, one, I can't build trust with the people that I need to build trust with, aka my teammates, right? And two, people create their own narratives. And I think if everybody would stop and self-reflect, everybody's done this in their own way. You think something's going on, and so you create the story in your head. So as far as that goes, I'm a huge fan of transparency. And to be transparent, you have to be available in a sense. Now, what that means and where the limits are, I don't know that you have to respond necessarily to every single message, right? So there's ways you can do that. So if, for example, if the White House superintendent decides not to close school, he's going to get 1,000 messages probably around why he screwed up, how stupid he is, the whole 9 yards. Like it's going to, some people are going to support him, some people are going to hate him for it. He needs to keep that line of communication open and then maybe mass communicate back and say, hey, everybody that responded, I hear you, and here's why we did what we did, and try to be as transparent as possible. That's tough nowadays, I will tell you that, because people like to twist words and tell half-truths. So, but I always will err on the side of transparency.
Yeah.
You're in such a tough spot because there's copycats and there's people who are just trying to stir the pot, and there's people who are maybe kids who are trying to get another day of school off. But you have to take it seriously, because what if?
Yeah, absolutely.
What if it is a legit threat? What if something happens? You would. I mean, you just can't. You can't go there.
I totally understand that. That perspective. It's just like, where do you draw the line? Mm-hmm. Like where every time that there's a note or a message on Facebook or Snapchat or whatever, we cancel school. Well, then school would never be in session, right? If it was that easy. And it's like, there's only so many resources that you can allocate. I mean, we're dealing with like a city, municipal police department. They have like 10 cops, not 400. Like it's like there's only so much you can do. So it's just like you said, it's an impossible situation to be in. There's no win-win, here. But I just thought I'd bring that up, and hoping that none of the games get postponed or canceled or
it could
so
impact
this week.
Sports for sure. Which again, in the grand scheme of things, they're important to a lot of people, but safety and education should be the priority. But I mean, it's a tough deal.
For sure. Just saw that happen last night and this morning, and thought I'd mention it.
No, it's
on a little bit of a lighter note.
Yeah.
I want to know what everybody's favorite sports movie is, and we talked about this briefly here or there.
Oh, buddy,
why you got to go there?
Just a bit outside, ball forward.
There's just so many good ones, and I know that we all enjoy sports enough to make it part of our daily life.
You were watching Hoosiers last night, weren't you?
No, but it's funny because I saw Tom Kendra write an article where Hoosiers for the MHSAA, where it was themed around Hoosiers more or less.
Oh, the Zweigle?
Yeah.
The Zweigle story, yeah.
And that's kind of what led to this, which is funny you bring that up. But yeah, I was just curious. What's your favorite Your favorite sports movie. It doesn't have to be basketball. It could be anything. It could be anything. Any sport.
Boy.
I'll go first if you want.
Yeah, go first because I don't know if I can pick.
Mine's actually a basketball movie, and I would say that baseball is my favorite sport overall. But mine's a basketball movie. Coach Carter, I think, is my favorite.
Oh, you talked about that. You love
for
some
sure.
Coach Carter.
I really do. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of good baseball movies too.
Let me guess. Okay, so Hoosiers.
Hoosiers is up there.
Remember the Titans?
Also up there.
Rudy.
Yeah.
Rudy.
Major
Gosh,
League.
There's
man.
so many. There's so many.
I know. I mean,
How
talk
do you-
about baseball specifically. There's a lot of purists that say Field of Dreams is number one.
Yeah.
I just never
It's not
really.
for me. Yeah.
Maybe it shows my
enjoy it.
personality, but I just love Major League. I laugh every time I watch that.
Yeah.
Same lines. I've seen the movie 100 times, and I laugh.
I like
just as hard.
Moneyball. It's a more
That's
recent
good,
one,
too.
but that's one of my favorite baseball
Moneyball's good.
I don't know. My top three.
What about The Natural? Or
Yeah.
what about, I mean, there's a whole list of like, man.
My top three, no particular order, are probably Hoosiers, Rudy, Remember the Titans.
It's fair. Remember they're great. They're great movies.
I can't pick.
Isn't that hard?
Man, like, if I got to pick, I might go something silly and say dodgeball.
I'm right. I mean, like, why not?
Or basketball.
Yeah, basketball's funny too.
There's so many good movies,
There
sports
is.
movies. Invincible, We Are Marshall. Like,
I just forgot about those.
dude, like you could. Affleck was just in one.
Basketball one.
The Way Back.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's just. I'm looking. I got a list up on my computer, and I'm starting to look, and there's a whole bunch that I didn't. Creed. Rocky, Varsity Blues, 42, Friday Night Lights, like, I mean, boy. Then
There's
you
a
get into
ton.
Miracle, and you get into like,
Damn.
oh, I don't know if I can pick, Zach.
That's hard, isn't it? I was just thinking
Billy,
about that.
I think
the other
Billy
day.
wants to say something.
You guys named all these movies, and he didn't name which is my favorite, the best sports movie of all time. Any Given Sunday. Minus
Oh,
Sharks.
you just
Willie Beeman.
you just lost me.
Yeah, well, you know why? Because the setting is in Florida, and because he's a huge NFL
He
fan.
thinks that it's basically about the Dolphins.
Right.
is what
That's
he thinks,
exactly
and
why
that's
Billy
where
likes it.
That is the only.
Speaking
reason
of
I could
speaking of
possibly-
transparency, you can see
Yeah.
right through him.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, it's
true.
yeah,
It's a good movie.
I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I can't pick.
Okay, how about this one? Last question before we send her off. Who is your favorite sports hero or icon growing up? And if you say Wilt Chamberlain, I'm gonna be upset about it.
No. So can we qualify sports hero? Like, for me, sports hero has very little to do with winning.
Yeah, right.
And so, like, so I have to qualify that. Like, I'm not picking my sports hero would probably not be the same as the greatest athlete of all time or the greatest player in any given sport. I would have to go with Jack Nicklaus.
Okay,
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you.
that surprises me a little bit.
Or John Wooden. I mean, I think one of those two guys, and the reason is their character.
Mm-hmm.
The character, the way they played the game, the way they did business, the way they did things, to me, and again, I say that the greatest of all time, both of them. I mean, are there, right? Like, but that's for me.
Have you played the Nicholas course, American Dunes?
I have not played American Dunes yet, but maybe you could use your verified status on Twitter. To get us
I
on
will
there
be playing
somedays.
the Nicholas course in Cabo, just to let you know. You remember the photos I tried to send you that you wouldn't look at?
I scratched them out. I removed them as soon as I got them. No, I would love to play there, but I have not had a chance yet.
Yeah. So who's yours?
I honestly haven't come up with one until right now because it's so hard. I knew it'd be so hard. I would probably have to say, man, my favorite baseball player of all time is
If
probably
you see Barry Bonds, I'm going to tip your chair over.
no. Probably Albert Pujols or Derek Jeter, one of those two.
Yeah, Jeter was a good guy. That's
Mhm.
your sports hero, though. That's the guy you got to go to.
My favorite baseball player, sports hero. It's also like why not pick Benny the Jet Rodriguez? Like, why not pick? You know what I mean? Why not take a fictional I mean, he's not fictional, but why not pick?
That's why I
a,
said you had to qualify. Did it have to be real?
Willie
it's
Mays
hard.
Hayes?
Yeah, right. It's just that's such a hard question. I was trying to go up with
Wild Thing
the
Vaughn.
most difficult questions.
Happy Gilmore.
No. Nope. What about you, Scott?
I almost have to go with Gibby, Kirk Gibson,
Oh, yeah, that's a good one, actually.
just because he played with so much grit,
He's
and
a
he was
multi-sport athlete
clutch,
in college,
multi-sport
too, yeah.
athlete. It's tough though. I mean, basketball. I don't even know where to begin with
Neither
that.
do I.
Obviously, grew up watching the Pistons, so I don't know. I always liked just Joe Dumars because he got the
Yeah.
job done without much fanfare.
Yeah, it wasn't all about
It's
him.
so hard. Like I have a hard time with this. I don't even like buying jerseys. Like if I was a guy that liked to wear jerseys and
I feel like you are. I feel like at
I'm
home,
not.
I feel like you got like 15
No.
jerseys and you just wear them at home. We don't know about it.
No.
You're less open about it than Billy.
It's Saturday mornings every Saturday.
I don't buy player jerseys.
How many jerseys do you have, Billy?
I have 7 jerseys. They all have my last name on them. I do have one Dan Marino jersey, but yeah, no, I buy
Most
my own.
overrated
I
quarterback
saw a bunch
all
of
time.
Billies running around down in Indy over the weekend wearing grown men wearing jerseys.
bunch of Billies.
Bunch of Billies.
No offense, Billy.
Like I said, I don't.
Shots over the bow right
I
there.
don't put other players' names on my jersey.
Well,
Yeah.
no. And
I'm a team.
Billy
fan.
said that like he says I don't put other players like
Like
he's plays like man is a legit.
Yeah.
it does look legit. I'll give him that.
You're like
You know-
who is man? When did he play for the Dolphins?
No, like I saw a lot of Tom Brady jerseys, which I have to say real quick. Obviously, he is the GOAT. There's
Yeah.
no disputing that.
Yeah, for sure.
But what I find funny is when he played at Michigan, a lot of Michigan fans didn't like him. They're
Yeah,
like, I
'cause he
want
wasn't-
Henson.
Not a lot of Michigan fans like. all
But now
of
they
them.
love him because
Yeah,
he's
of course
the
they do.
man.
They claim him.
That's the way it goes.
Just
it or
like,
not.
yeah, you're gonna get me on a tangent. Like, all right, I'm gonna say it. So I'm gonna make some Michigan fans and this has nothing to do with me being a Sparty fan. Okay, I want to put that out there. I am a Sparty fan. I love Michigan State, but the Iowa win was wonderful. And Michigan has been a phenomenal football team this year, and they deserve to be in the college football playoffs. I think they stand a legitimate chance to win a game or two there. Alabama looks tough. But after the win against number 13 Iowa, 3 loss
Three
Iowa now.
yeah.
There must have been 5,000 Michigan fans saying, we got to be number 1 right now. Did they not watch Alabama just manhandle the number 1 team in the country, undefeated Georgia? I mean, seriously. Like,
Well, the discussion is going to now. They're like, well, Georgia wasn't very good. They didn't beat
oh, yeah.
anyone.
They won all their games. Right, exactly. But can we be realistic? This is where I sometimes, like, fans in general, I'm not going to say Michigan. Fans in general just get ridiculous about this stuff. Like, is the Purdue game more impressive than what? Like, does anybody really think Purdue's better than Georgia? I mean, no. Nobody in their right mind thinks Purdue's better than Georgia. And, like, or not Purdue, Iowa, sorry.
Right.
And, like, to me, it's just, like, silly. The whole thing is, no, Alabama deserves to be number 1 if there's 1 loss teams. If anybody has a legitimate complaint, Cincy should be like,
Yeah, for real.
hey, man, we ran the table. You know, like, do we not get some love? You know, so
No, and I
anyways.
mean, being a Michigan State grad, a Spartan fan,
yeah.
I mean, I give credit where it's due.
Oh,
I
Michigan
mean,
was great.
The thing about Michigan is you got to tip your cap because usually they're overranked to start the season because they're living off the name.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah.
At least under Harbaugh, they haven't lived up. This year they've
No, they earned
overachieved. They start out unranked, and they earned everything they've gotten. They've earned.
And was impressively came off that Sparty loss. They really should have won that football
Oh,
game.
yeah.
I mean,
They
they
should
were
have.
in control. MSU got lucky to kind of win that game. But came off that, and in my opinion, in previous years, they would have fallen apart after that. And they didn't. They got better. Like,
Yeah.
every single week, they were better and better and better.
I give them a puncher's chance against Georgia. You know, if they run into Bama, I don't know about that.
I don't against either of them.
Yeah.
I think the SEC's just.
SEC's down this year, though.
I
mean, other
agree.
than-
I totally agree. I just don't think that's like enough.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, I definitely think Bama's the best team in the country. I think I don't see anybody beating them.
Are we shocked that Bama's the best team in the country?
It's kind of annoying, to be honest with you.
I agree.
I hate having to say it.
I
And
totally agree.
I can't believe I'm going to say I am rooting for Michigan.
Yeah.
Like, I'm hardcore. Like, I'm a Big Ten guy once we're – and I'm glad Michigan did what they did to Iowa because if they hadn't, we might be in a situation – we would likely be in a situation where we didn't get a Big Ten team in, and that would be bad for everybody. So
Totally agree.
good
No,
deal.
and they were excited. I mean, being down in Indy, just saw the Iowa fans, of course, were there, obviously. But all the Michigan fans, because it had been 17 years since they won a Big Ten title, which you don't expect that from Michigan. With a
No.
program of that stature, like 17 years?
That's crazy.
It's a long time.
It's a really long
And so
time.
that's why when they beat Ohio State, they rushed the field at the Big House. I mean, there were people from all over. I know the Muskegon area that I would see on my
Yeah.
Facebook timeline just they're in Indy. I mean, they were there going to the game. They're excited.
They legit should be excited. They are playing great, both ways too. I would say all aspects of the game. You know, like I heard Owen had some friends over. Guys are Michigan fans. I heard some silliness that Haskins is better than Walker, and I was like, yeah, dude, no. Like I'm not. I can't go there. Some of that silliness goes on. But what I'll say is that Michigan's rushing game and passing game is solid, and their defense is really solid.
Yeah, they're just solid across the board. You're right. I mean,
they're just a good team.
And they've gotten better as the season's gone on too.
Yeah,
I agree. Totally agree.
So who do you like, Michigan or Georgia? Zach says Georgia.
Georgia.
What do you say, Scott?
Man, I like Georgia, but I think Michigan has a legit chance in that game. Beyond that, I don't know. But Georgia, how are they going to respond? Because now they're going to be the ones that people are doubting. See, Bama, everyone was doubting Bama. Well, at least the smart people weren't doubting Bama. But a lot of people, because Bama was a touchdown underdog to Georgia.
Yeah.
Saban used that to his advantage.
Oh, heck yeah.
He
He
had
got
them
his
all
rat
riled
poison
up.
comments.
Yeah,
and, like,
I mean,
yeah,
he had
yeah,
them ready to go. So will Georgia kind of come out that way?
What do you think,
I'm going to go with Georgia, but I think Michigan has a legit chance in that game.
Billy? What do you think?
I don't know. That's a rough pick. I say Georgia right off the bat, but I hope Michigan wins. I'm just upset that they're playing on the Dolphins' turf and they're going to tear it up before another Sunday.
He only cares. It all comes back around the Dolphins. If he can mention the Fins, it's going to do it. I'm taking the Wolverines. I think they got something to prove this year. I think if they win that game, I think Alabama is a tough task. I think they get this one. I really do. I think they're going to go in and they're going to play smash mouth football, and they're really going to try to control the pace. And so I'm going to give it to the Wolverines. I think they're going to win.
Interesting.
But
yeah, I mean, I hope they do. Big Ten. You know, we're supporting the Big Ten
some of us.
as much as we can.
What else we got, Zach? Is that all we got?
That's about all we have. That's about all we have today.
All right. We under an hour, or did we go over an hour today?
Just over, I think.
57 and 59 seconds.
Just under.
We did good.
There we go. We got it.
So, reminders as we go out. We got the Van Dyke Mortgage Power Hour brought to you by North Grove Brewery.
Good
coming
job.
up on Thursday. We got some streaming games this week coming up. Stay tuned for some Player of the Year stuff. We're going to try to do a banquet here probably January.
Mm-hmm. January 8th.
January 8th. That will also be the Van Dyke Mortgage Player of the Year brought to you by North Grove Brewery. So I got to get those sponsor title plugs in there. Those guys support us. They support the local athletes. So anything that I missed? What else we got going on? Scott's going to Cabo.
Yes. Yeah, don't forget that.
Big jerk.
You know what
He
I'm
is a
afraid of
jerk.
though, and this just happens if you've got a job where you communicate by email
Yeah.
a lot. You know how it is when you leave for a while, right?
Just shut it off.
I know.
That's what I said.
It's hard though, man.
Just shut it off.
I'm
It's not
dumb.
that-
Shutting
Turn it
it
off.
off.
Unless I email you, then you better answer.
That's a test.
Literally how it goes.
That's the test is to ignore this thing while you're on it. You know,
Yeah. If you got all your I's dotted and your T's crossed, you should be pretty good.
planning, right?
Yeah,
Planning.
Planning. Yeah.
Just say you didn't get the out-of-country plan, so you got nothing.
Yeah, no internet. They don't have internet
exploring,
in Cabo. I highly doubt that.
A
But
Yeah.
satellite,
They do.
a CatchMark satellite place over in Cabo, I think.
Really?
Let's open a CatchMark.
I will volunteer to work there.
I bet you would.
Cover some.
What sports can we cover in Cabo?
Uh,
Baja. He covered
1000.
Baja.
You be quiet. Billy, that was enough out of
It's
you.
not a sport, Billy.
They're racing cars. So as we go out, I got a fun fact. I'm reading a book by John Wooden. Of course, that's why Wooden kind of came up.
Yeah.
And I talked about this, I think, in our leadership meeting last week. But what do you think the first thing that John Wooden taught his players, every single one of them, when they were freshmen, they came onto the team?
The first thing he taught his players.
Yep.
I feel like it's not going to be related to their actual athletic.
It's going to surprise you, but
I don't know.
I'm going to let it linger. Scott? Guesses?
No, it's going to be non-basketball.
That's what
completely
I was.
non-basketball.
It'd be not related to like their ability, something that they could change.
He taught them
physically.
how to put on their socks properly. And like in the book, there's a whole section about socks. It's crazy.
What?
So what is the proper way?
I don't remember. They actually didn't really explain what the proper way was, but every one of his players remember it. Abdul-Jabbar is like quoted as like, and Wooden said, and the cool thing was in that book was that Wooden talked about the little things, and he said, if players put their socks on right, they start the day in the right way. They don't get blisters. They don't like just something silly. Like, and most people would be like, what? But every one of his players remembered that. Every one of his players talked about it. It's pretty kind of
Interesting.
So are there different ways to put on socks then? Like,
he had a methodology. I mean, like he had a full class. You folded them in a certain way. You did them in a certain way. It actually kind of reminded me of the service, right? Like, way less productive. You know, you had to have your socks rolled to a certain length, and you never used them because once you got them rolled right, you never wanted them to. Never wanted them to come undone, so you just bought extra socks that you wore and socks that just sat in your drawer as a display. So that anytime you got inspected,
you wouldn't have to worry about it. That makes sense.
Yeah, no, Wooden was a lot more practical. So I'm interested to see how this book goes.
Huh. Yeah, keep us updated for sure.
And then one final thing, is someone going to be sitting in for me next week or what?
On the podcast?
Are we going to take
Zach,
some
who you got?
volunteers?
Oh, well, trust me, I got somebody lined up. It's going to be a
right.
surprise, though. I want to make sure it was somebody that Scott didn't like.
What do you mean? I like everybody.
I'm just teasing. I have no
What do you mean,
idea.
you're not
going
gonna
to
be on the show? Sorry, I love you.
Oh my gosh, the guy's going to Cabo. And
I have
he
a couple
gets
good
me.
options. We'll see.
So we haven't decided yet.
No, I haven't decided yet. But Scott and I have talked about a few different people, so I'm just reach out to some people, see if they're interested. It's also like we do it at a tough time for a lot of people because they work, right?
Yeah,
or they're
yeah,
in
for
school,
sure.
Well,
so
we're
that's what makes it
working.
tough. True.
Yeah, but are we really? All right, we wrapping it up.
Yeah. Without further ado, I think that'll do it for episode 7 of the CatchMark SportsNet podcast, brought to you by Van Dyke Mortgage, and we'll see you guys next time.